Sagaria welcome you to our YouTube channel, The Zaria. In the second, third and fourth episodes of our Adibhumi, we discussed about the philosophical aspects of ancient Dalkhai in western Odisha. Ganabaja has also a major role in the folk dance of Dalkhai. It has deeply been rooted with socio-religious culture of the tribal people of western Odisha. This can be observed clearly from Barwa Tattva to Dalkhai. In this episode of Adibhumi, we are going to explore the philosophy of Ganabaja. When the Aryans came to India, this geographical region was already inhabited by some indigenous races of people who had a higher level of civilization but still untouched by modernity. The tribal people have their own physical, cultural, philosophical and religious identity. We can't give credit to the Aryans alone for building up of Indian civilization, as a major share of it had been contributed by the tribal communities. The idea, concept and message have spiritual connection or kinship with creatures or objects of nature. This totemic belief of the tribal people is not only an integral part of their socio-religious culture but also originated from their religious and spiritual activities. The mystic animal to which a tribe relates its own origin is its totem. The totem animal is believed to be the protector of the tribal people and their clan. This belief is derived from observation. Virtually all the animals possess instinctive responses to escape from predators and also from fire. In humans, these responses are known as panic. In the ancient time, dreadful situation of nature due to calamities brought awareness among people in tribal communities. They became awakened towards nature and its malevolent forces. This awareness brought shower of wisdom in the tribal societies. Awareness is the essence of consciousness. The tribal people observed the panic behavior of animals prior to an earthquake, like the dogs barking, nervous cats jumping out of windows, birds screaming, rats running out of their holes, bees swarming, etc. If organisms are sensitive enough to detect vibrations accompanying the arrival of premolar waves, that sense could provide enough of a warning to trigger a death avoiding response immediately prior to the arrival of the more damaging seismic waves. Such panic behavior of animals during the malevolent force induced the tribal people to worship to totem animals. The totemic animals were accepted as the form of goddess in animal found deities or animal form of head and human body. In the sixth episode of Adibhumi, Guruji Dr. Khasiram Misra asserted that research on phonemes or nada started during the ancient Stone Age. The duration of ancient Stone Age is from 25 million years to 10,000 years BC. The Homo sapiens group were the ancestor of Gonds who were living in Narmada Valley from 8 to 3 million years ago. During Homo sapiens period, the totem culture of tribal people had already been developed, and in the 4th and 5th century AD, it had been admitted as yogini in Hindu scripture. As stated in the book The Tribal Roots of Hinduism by Dr. S.K. Tiwari, Gonds are the most important tribal group of the Dravidian group of tribe.
माझी बोले हम गण लोग तो
हाँ हाँ
आमर हेन अछन जे
केन लोग ने ना ई देश जाको से माना छ
And classified in many ways according to the geographical distribution, the number of gods they propitiate, and their cultural strata. Accordingly, the major groups of Gonds are the Bastar group, Odisha group, and Satpura group. The entire region was historically known as Gondwana. The region consisted of northern bank of the river Godavari, Mahanadi, and its tributaries. The river Narmada, the Vardha, and the Wainganga, the Eastern Ghats, and Satpura ranges, including Michael Range. Dr. S.K. Tiwari suggested that the ancestors of present Gonds might have been the inhabitants of these areas even 2 million years ago. They must have lived in the isolated forests or hilly regions in small clans. Further, the Gonds have varieties of clans which are based on the number of gods they worshipped. These are 4 god, 5 god, 6 god, 7 god, and 12 god. And they called them Yarwen, Sarwen, Saivan, Nalwen, and Tori respectively. The anthropological study states that Gonds community extended patronage to the communities of musicians or dancers that are Dhulia, Bhuta, Koila Bhuta, Koila Bhuti, Gonds, Kowari, Nagarchi, and Bhima. The term Dhulia has its origin from Dhol, which means drum. They are more commonly known as Dhulia, Dholi, or Baznia. They are the musicians of the Gonds. In the Bastar and Satrupa region, these musicians are known as Dhulia, and in western Odisha, they are known as Baznia or Gana. It is observed that the Gond people extended patronage to Ganabaja from the ancient time. It is supposed to be the greatest achievement of the Gond tribes. Without Ganabaja, the socio-religious culture of tribal people is quite impossible. Therefore, the Jamindars or landlords of western Odisha had donated mafia land to Gana people. The Gana people have serving as musicians of the tribal people from prehistorical time until today, particularly during the worship of tribal deities. It is observed from the 16 Koti of Gana people that the 16 Koti consists of the Scottish gods and goddesses who are the head of the every single Koti. Generally, the 16 Koti of Gana people can be classified into 3 categories: animal concept, medieval, and modern concept. The animal concept of 16 Koti was the oldest form, and it was influenced by the totem culture of the tribal. The tribal people have a belief that the totem animal is their protector from all malevolent forces. This belief of the tribal people was the origin of yogini culture, where the totem animal was worshipped. In the culture of Hinduism, the divine status establishes the image in 2 ways, that are Nyasa in the method of Karmakanda and the deity's yoga. Generally, the tribal people have followed the deity yoga. This concept of deity worship is based on Naga. When nada absorbed in a single point or bindu, it produces great energy in the human body. The Ganabaja of Western Odisha is a combination of Panchabadya Tattva which thrills the human mind and soul. The tribal people are worshipper of nature, and the origin of nature is the coherence of Panchabhuta. The Panchabadya Tattva might have some sort of effect on Panchabhuta. Therefore, the thrilling is traced out in the human mind and soul, and the tremor can be traced out in the body of Varua. The scholars of Ganabaja have classified the concept of Ganabaja into two broader categories, that are efficacy and entertainment. The spiritual related part of Ganabaja is said to be efficacy, where the Dhulia exhibits skill and perfection which he inherits from his ancestors. The efficacy relates to dual words that are skill and perfection. The wisdom and skill are means and perfection that relates to insight, where the task is completed skillfully and wisely. The most important synopsis of Ganabaja is Yogini culture. It has been suggested by some scholars that the totem concept of tribal community is admitted as Yogini in Hindu scripture. According to Dr. S.K. Tiwari, the steps of admittance are: first, totems are accepted as the form of goddess in human found deities or composite form. Second, Mother Goddess sculpture without Sanskrit names in Yogini with human body and some sort of animal site. Third, Mother Goddess sculpture with Sanskrit names is Yogini with human body and some sort of animal site. Fourth, totem animal is accepted as Vahana of Goddess. Fifth, Mother Goddess of supreme power is Navdurga or Saptamatakas. Without Ganabaja, the worship of Shakti is impossible in Western Odisha till today. This concept provides a fertile soil where the Ganabaja grows up. The yoginis, which cults are focused on Kaula or clan, must have possessed the following features according to Kaula Jnana Nirnaya Tantra. First, the yoginis were a group of powerful female divinity with whom human female witches were identified in ritual practice. Second, their power intimately related to the flow of blood, both their own menstrual and sexual emission. Third, they were essential to tantric initiation, in which the initiated male practitioner through fluid transaction via their mouth. Fourth, they possessed the power of flight. Fifth, they took the form of humans, animals, birds, or inhabited trees. Sixth, they often arrayed in circles. Seventh, their temples were generally located in isolated areas or hilltops and were usually round. Eighth, they were never portrayed as practicing yoga. The simple reason is that yoga, as we know, had not yet been invented. We have already discussed the origins of the defining features of the yoginis and their cults that relate to our ancient Dalkhai. The second part is entertainment, a pleasure. In Western Odisha, the ancient Dalkhai lost its essence from 11th century, and somehow the tradition was alive up to 1980, where the Dalkhai concept divided into two parts, ancient and modern. The study of ancient Dalkhai was long neglected by the ideological people of Western Odisha, who were shocked, offended by the sexuality which they found in the song of ancient Dalkhai. The worship of divinity under sexual sublime was very ancient in India, which is to be pre-Aryan, and the ancient Dalkhai came under this category. Hatha Yoga is the yoga of the body. It is the art of letting go slowly, of allowing you to be relaxed. Many of the exercise positions used are from yoga. Along with this burrow, the attitude of allowing your body to move in an unaccustomed way. Tantric yoga, the yoga of achieving enlightenment through sexual union, relates to a theory of psychic joining. Spirituality and orgasm are different expressions of the same life force. There is a great similarity between intense religious experience and total orgasm. It can be described in the word as peak experience. The giving of oneself to another with love, total surrender, non-dwell, and merger describe the religious experience as well as sexual union. The goal of Tantra Yoga or Mahayoga is to achieve divine union through sexual union. Dalkhai is a tantric rite for which the participants were trained to use the most powerful sexual energy for the attainment of higher state of consciousness. In this process, the personal pleasure got vanished and the divine pleasure took its place. When the unison of Panchavadya becomes still, it produces Nada, which cultivates consciousness and unionism of breath of sadhaka or sadhika. This is the key technique of seminal teaching. The sadhaka or divine man gets reluctant for union because of the fear of losing energy which he cultivates from intense sadhana. The control of semen is the synonym of Dalkhai. So the sadhaka cares for these 3 points to attain the final stage of sexual union, which leads him to realize all phenomena are void. The goal of Ganabaja was the bodily transformation of living practitioner of Tantra into a perfect immortal like a Siddha, Vidyadhara or a second Shiva. This was the perfection stage of Ganabaja. The personal view of the writer is that the Ganabaja is the originator of Nada Tattva. The writer dedicates this observation to late Saranga Churiya of Papanga via Veden district, Berger.